Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're decoding the hyper-organized, literal mathematical precision hiding behind the madman myth of one of football's most influential minds, Marcelo Bielsa. We're going to dive right in, because what looks like absolute utter chaos on the pitch, well, it's actually a meticulously engineered system. Let's break down exactly how it works. A man with new ideas is mad until he succeeds. Now, this famous quote perfectly sets the stage for uncovering how Bielsa's revolutionary ideas went from seeming, well, totally insane into an absolute blueprint for modern football. You see, when a system is so drastically different from the norm, people tend to reject it right away. But as we'll see today, his ideas were so far ahead of their time that they basically shaped the elite tactical landscape we're watching right now. Section 1, the myth of a Lopo. Often viewed by the casual fan as this chaotic, unpredictable figure just pacing the sidelines, Bielsa is actually deeply revered by the world's elite coaches. Pep Guardiola, for instance, famously called him the absolute greatest coach in the world. Why? Precisely because his teams operate on extreme logic, not chaos. Every single movement, every pressing trap, every pass, it's all the result of obsessive analysis and just an unmatched attention to detail. Section 2, Obsessive Training Ground Secrets. To really get Bielsa, you have to understand this exact number, 170. Bielsa has literally mapped out the sport mathematically, creating exactly 170 specific training exercises. He firmly believes that these exercises represent every possible technical and tactical situation a player could ever face in a full competitive game. Seriously, absolutely nothing is left to chance. And it goes deeper. Within those exercises, he identified exactly 26 distinct movements required for a player to properly receive the ball. He completely eliminates random guesswork from his training. In Bielsa's world, you don't just get open. No, you execute one of 5 specific ways to separate from a defender, and you use one of the 26 specific movements to receive the ball correctly, focusing completely on body shape, scanning, and first touch direction. It's like a giant puzzle. And amazingly, all of this is drilled in sessions lasting a maximum of just 50 minutes. Can you imagine the mental toll? He forces his players to process around 15 different high-intensity exercises in that tiny window. The goal here is absolute match-level focus. Because the drills only last a few minutes each, players can't just coast or go through the motions. They're forced to concentrate fully, which perfectly simulates the intense mental load of a real match. So, those intense numbers fuel his 4 non-negotiable rules. First, extreme work rate. His teams constantly hit massive numbers for high-speed running. Second, the overload +1. He always wants one extra player in the build-up phase just to maintain control. Third, constant rotation, requiring players to seamlessly swap positions. And finally, the aggressive pressing that really defines his teams. Every single player has to adapt and rotate perfectly to make the whole shebang work. Section 3, Anatomy of the Bielsa Press. Okay, so before we visualize the pitch, we really need to grasp the core concepts here. His pressing relies heavily on gegenpressing, which is essentially a split-second mental reaction to losing the ball. It's not just a physical sprint, right? It's a mental trigger to apply instant pressure. But it's backed up by a cover press safety net. It's a highly flexible man-to-man system, but there's always a spare player ready to react if someone gets beaten. The concept of shadow cover is brilliant. Think about how supporting players can sit right on the opponent's shoulder. They are perfectly positioned to instantly deal with any one-on-one defensive failures. If the primary pressing player gets beaten, this shadow cover ensures the opponent still can't travel forward toward the goal. It's a highly calculated safety net that allows the entire team to press with absolute unyielding aggression. In a true zonal man-marking setup, the team forms these incredibly precise pressing triangles. The players aren't just running blindly at the ball. They're actively suffocating the opposition and deliberately blocking critical forward passing lanes. If the supporting press fails to block those lanes, the opponent could break right through with a dangerous numerical advantage. But when they execute it perfectly, the opponent literally has nowhere to go. Now, let's break down how this builds step by step into a highly calculated trap. Step 1. The striker cuts the pitch in half, forcing the opponent to play to one side. Step 2. The wide player jumps aggressively to force the center back toward their own goal. And step 3, the midfield reads this trigger and instantly cuts off all forward passing lanes. They force the opponent into tight areas where turnover isn't just likely, it essentially becomes mathematically inevitable. Section 4.
rotations, and tactical chaos.
Now, a massive part of Bielsa's attacking philosophy relies on the third man principle. Unlike traditional direct passing where you just, hit the open man, Bielsa requires a player to anticipate the next action before it even happens. So while the defense gets completely distracted by the first two players exchanging passes, the third man is already making a run to arrive in a dangerous free space. It demands incredible intelligence and foresight on the fly. The strategy also relies heavily on angled, rapid ground passes used to break defensive lines. This is definitely not about playing safe, lateral passes just to keep possession. Bielsa demands that players receive the ball already facing forward. Think about it. If you receive the ball facing your own goal, you slow the attack down. But by receiving on the half turn, players keep that attacking speed up and instantly see the vertical options to really hurt the opposition. Now, the big takeaway here is that bunching players on one side of the pitch, it is definitely not an accident, and it's not a loss of discipline. It's incredibly intentional. By overloading one side, Bielsa creates shorter passing lines for rapid combination play. But more importantly, it instantly prepares the team to counterpress if they lose the ball. Because the players are already grouped together, they can suffocate the opponent the very second possession turns over. It's genius. Ultimately, though, the true secret of Bielsa's system isn't just the math or the intense drills. It's absolute authenticity and proactive conviction. He demands his teams actually solve problems in tight spaces rather than just sitting back and waiting for the opponent to make a mistake. Every pass has an intention, every movement has a clear purpose, and that collective belief in the philosophy is exactly what creates such a powerful, unified team identity. As we wrap up this explainer on Marcelo Bielsa's meticulously engineered system, I want you to think about how these principles might actually apply beyond just football. Ask yourself how you approach challenges in your own strategy, whether you're in sports, business, or just life in general. Are you sitting back, waiting to react to problems as they pop up, or are you preparing obsessively, taking the initiative, and proactively dictating the rhythm of the game? Thanks so much for joining me today, and keep looking for the logic hidden inside the chaos.